Well, Arsene, after 22 years, you said in your book that you were going to have to learn to live without Arsenal. How's that gone for you?
Well, it was tough to live without Arsenal, and overall I think I survived well. You know, time is a good doctor, and it helps you to get over things and take things with a distance. I believe as well that the fact that I went completely committed, that I given absolutely all, and that I left the club in a very good shape, financially, technically, and structure-wise, helps to think, okay, it's another chapter now, let the club go on.
Did writing the book help you?
I didn't like to look back. I did it because I thought if I don't do it now, I never do it, and maybe at some stage you have to look back at your life as well, and not to escape, because the life of a manager is always to look forward, and that's why you at some stage, when you have time, it's not too bad to do it.
It's 2 years, or more than 2 years, isn't it, since you were last in management. You said you're going to work at FIFA until you find yourself back in the heaven and hell of a manager's job. Have you had offers, and why have you taken none so far?
Because the project, I was not ready to go into the hell again, and the heaven as well, and because I was involved at FIFA in a project that is a more long-term project, and that can be less winning games, but maybe more helpful for football.
What offers have you had?
I had offers from European clubs, English clubs, and...
none that tempted you? None that you were close to saying
yes to? Yeah, I was
yes
tempted, of course, but you think about, do I want to go in there again and start? Do I win a few more games or not? Will not change my life anymore? Can I help football in another way? I think yes. So I can share what I've learned in the game, and can as well help to develop the game, because today is a big gap between Europe and the rest of the world, and FIFA has gone into that desire to develop the game in the rest of the world, and the women's football as well has to be developed, so it's a huge job to do.
If you get the chance to manage again, would you prefer international, or could you see yourself back at a club? Have you got the energy and the desire to still do it day to day?
I have the chance to work again, you know. I have offers to work in clubs, but at the moment I don't want to do it. And overall, maybe in the next year or two I will focus completely on the FIFA role, and after I will see. More international maybe than club.
Would you ever coach in the Premier League for another side?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing.
My life is linked with Arsenal, you know. It's such a long time. I've been football married for 22 years. So
people do get remarried sometimes, though.
Yeah, some people get remarried. I'm not ready to remarry.
You've spoken a lot this week about Project Big Picture. We saw last night that the Premier League clubs voting against it. But there were a lot of people that thought there was actually a lot of good in it. What did you find within that is actually positive? Because I'm not sure this is the last we've heard of it, is it?
The whole story looks to be a bit surprising. First of all, I don't believe that there were only two clubs behind this project. I'm convinced that some other people turned up in these meetings, and when the project comes out with 17 pages of structured plans, it means that it has been discussed with other people, you know. What was surprising is that unanimously everybody voted against it. That is, I think, not very brave from people who thought about that for a long time, submit a project, and the next day they vote against their own project. That was quite surprising. What
do you want to see if it is to happen in the future structure of English football?
What do I want to see is to respect the basis of a competition. That means based on sport merit. And after that, certainly you have to restructure a little bit the whole game, the whole English game, because to me it looks that you have 92 clubs, professional clubs, and that is too many clubs at the moment to survive in England. Why? For one simple reason. Today the modern supporter supports his national team, he supports a big club, and he supports his local team. But the local supporters shrink, and the smaller clubs in the country have more problems to survive. Maybe you have to reduce the number of professional clubs because there's not enough income anymore for them, and maybe the second decision is to share a bit better what is coming into the elite with the other clubs.
You said in your book as well, watching Arsenal now, I mean, you've not seen them, you've not been back, have you, to the stadium, but there's a sense with Arteta in charge that the DNA that you helped create at Arsenal is beginning to run through that side again?
Yeah, it looks like that we have a good potential. I think this year we have a good chance to come at least into the back four again, because last year we were quite far out. And looking at the league, there's no dominating team at the moment, because after 4 games everybody has lost already. So that means everybody can believe it.
How long might it take, do you think, Arteta to mould a Premier League winning
side? It doesn't
side?
take long. You know, that's an old story. That is completely wrong. You have 3 months when you come in somewhere to have an impact, and I think he had that. He has done that in a positive way. After that, especially at the end of the season in the Championship, they have to improve, because we made 56 points last year. That is the lowest, I don't know for how long, but and I personally believe that this year we have a good chance, even maybe to fight at the top.
The Europa League squads are out. The Premier League squads get announced on the 20th. We know that there was no Mesut Özil in Arsenal's Europa League. We'll look on the 20th to see. It's actually his birthday today, and I suspect in footballing terms...
So I wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, he may not be having the best birthday. It's really interesting in your book. You talked about him as an artist. You talked about him needing to be encouraged, to feel close to his coach, have a relationship and a trust with him. He needs to feel supported in his creativity. And with that in mind, has he been managed in the best way possible?
I don't know, because I don't know what's happening on a daily basis. I just say one thing. The creative players are as well players who are perfectionists, you know, and they're a bit more sensitive sometimes, and they need, of course, to be encouraged. Because if I want to play a risky pass, I need to be confident, and the creative players, they create this pass that makes the team dangerous. Mesut Özil is an exceptional football player. What happens at the moment between him and the club looks to be more confrontational, you know. It's not based only on sport, I'm convinced. But Özil cannot play in the Europa League, sorry. But this guy has won things, he's world champion, he's an exceptional football player. Why is he not at the moment playing? I don't know. You have to, when you're a football player, you have to respect the decision of your manager and fight to get the confidence back and get back in the team again. He can fight, contrary to what people think, he can fight, and he's an exceptional football player. He has enough quality to get back into the team. So that's down now to him to gain this confidence back.
Don't the very best coaches always manage to find a way to incorporate those sort of players?
It's a different way you have 2 ways to see things, you know, or you have a guy you think he can make the team win, but he has some weaknesses, and you try to compensate these weaknesses by putting players around him that these weaknesses you don't pay for, or you think everybody has to do exactly the same work at the same moment, and we want to press for everywhere all over the pitch and counter press and be quick in transition, and then you need people who do exactly all the same work and the same intensity of work. So that's 2 visions. Each can be defended.
If he's not in that squad on the 20th, what would happen? What happens now?
I don't know. I believe he can play in the Premier League, you know.
Not if he's not in that squad on the 20th.
Oh, so
What happens?
I don't know. When you practice every day, and you make sure that your level doesn't drop, and that you can go somewhere else after and play somewhere else.
Do you ever keep in contact with him? Have you ever spoken to him? Has he
No, I
reached
haven't
out
spoken
to you?
to him since he left, because I decided to take a distance and not interfere in anything, you know. And I thought, I explained that in my books. When you have been such a long time, it's important that you don't you cut the at some stage your relations, and to let them get on with it.
In the book, when you sort of talk at the end, you said it was almost like full circle. When you arrived at Arsenal, there were questions from fans. We know, don't we, the famous saying, and then towards the end, it got a little bit hostile towards you in the stadium. You said it sort of went full circle, but how do you hope Arsenal fans will remember you and your time at the club?
I don't know. I believe you face always, when you're in a public job, you face always judgment, you know. What you can do and try is to change that judgment in a positive way. So I believe I was loyal, committed, and worked with integrity, and only with one thing in mind: what is good for this club. So I would like to be remembered like that. So we face always two judges, the outside and the inside. I know internally I'm in peace, because I know I gave absolutely everything for this club, and I can live with that.